Hello, I'm James Daggar-Nickson. Welcome to Media Week. Ahead on the program, radio ratings hit the wires. Strong performances from the likes of ARN and Nova. Meanwhile, Alan Jones putting the spring back into 2GB. Also on the show, a recap of TV Night's Nighter Nights, the Logie Awards. More on that a little bit later in the program. But first, the future, it seems, unclear for 10 Network. Today reporting a $232 million loss, with the network warning it needs a new $250 million loan facility before the end of the year. Potentially could go under. For more, let's go live now to 10 Network headquarters. James Manny speaking with 10 Network CEO Paul Anderson.
Paul, welcome back to Sky News Business.
Thank you.
Pretty dramatic day, it seems. If you read some of the headlines today about the business, you're getting lots of questions about, are you going to go broke? You know, the future of the business. How does it look? Is it a tough day?
Yeah, I think it is a tough day. You know, at the end of the day, I think the headline that, you know, from the results that we were most pleased about was they've actually grown revenue and revenue share over the past 6 months. You know, we've worked really hard in terms of turning our programming around, and the fact that we've grown our revenue share 22 out of the past 24 months is a terrific result for us. So, but, you know, we get that we've got a debt facility that's due at the end of the year. We've been very upfront in terms of our disclosures around what we're doing, the plans that we have, you know, in order to refinance that, and that's where most of the focus has been.
During the analyst call this morning, you said a few things, like you said, look, we need a different way of operating. I think you haven't been probably that's so forthright in the past during our discussions at the end of different reporting seasons. You said costs can't increase.
Yeah.
Two of the big takeaways I took. So we're really talking about a dramatic change?
Yeah, look, I think we've always done things differently at 10, and we've probably always done things, you know, cheaper than other networks. So I think the difference is that as we look into the future, you know, our industry is changing rapidly, and, you know, transformation's a word that's, you know, probably overused. But what we are working through now, and be working through probably for 6 months, is a genuine different way of looking at our business, and looking at every different part of our business to you know, analyse, can we do it better? And at the end of the day, we know that costs need to be reined in terms of, you know, to match up with the advertising environment, irrespective of, you know, us actually growing our revenue.
You just said you've always done things a little bit cheaper. You're going to redefine cheap?
Oh, look, you know, I think the environment that we live in, yeah, well, I think we definitely do. And I think, you know, look, we're not the only broadcaster. I think every broadcaster in the world is trying to reduce their cost per hour any way they can. So, you know, I think what we've got now is, you know, we've appointed a Chief Transformation Officer here. We've got a different way of, I guess, assessing all of our different ideas that we put into practice around the network. And we're very focused on how that contributes to the bottom line and actually making the business, you know, profitable.
Is everything up for negotiation in this? I mean, you know, programming, the whole business model, staffing from top to bottom, I guess?
Look, every part of the business we're reviewing. So when we say transformation, that's revenue as well as cost. This is not just a cost-cutting exercise. Having said that, you know, we have cut costs and we've grown revenue and revenue share. So every part of the business is being reviewed. There's been lots of speculation around our news. We've been very forthright with our staff that, you know, it is just another part of the content that is getting reviewed. We've made no decisions on that yet. So yeah, so it's right across the business.
Are the existing media laws hampering your options? Does that limit sort of where you could take the business?
Oh, look, I think they definitely do. And I think all of the, you know, the media operators in Australia have been quite forthright and said that, you know, these laws were implemented or brought in before the age of the internet. They're completely redundant. They don't apply to everyone. And, you know, businesses these days need to be able to configure themselves in the best way possible to actually make a return from their shareholders. So, you know, our hope is, you know, we are disappointed that these laws have been, you know, pushed back to later this year. You know, and we hope that the crossbenchers actually appreciate the difficulties and the challenges that we have from a lot of these international operators that are coming here, you know, and challenging the eyeballs that, you know, that we operate with.
Does the business need a white knight, an investor? I mean, it's often News Corp's often painted as somebody who might be a natural sort of owner of the business eventually or one day. That time would have to be pretty close if it was going to be them.
No, look, I don't think we need a white knight. What we need is it's an operating model that is profitable, and you know, so that we can stand on our own 2 feet. And you know, that's our number one priority in our plan. And you know, we've set some of those things out in our results today, and we're extremely focused on you know, on delivering those.
You said historically your audience levels are pretty good from where you've been the last 5 years. Can you maintain those audiences at the same time cutting costs? I know Seven's talked a lot in the past about, you know, how they can sort of strip some costs out of business without trying to affect the sort of on-screen appearance, if you like.
Look, I think we can, and you know, content has to be at the heart of what we do. And you know, there's been a bit of commentary around you know, us cutting our programming, and that's just not true. So I think we have a cost base. You need to repurpose that cost base and spend it in the best way possible without taking anything off screen. We've launched 14 shows in the last 2 years, of which 12 have been successful. So that's you know, a record that we're extremely proud of. We've got more shows that we've commissioned. So our plan is, in conjunction with the programming that we've got and the relationship we have with MCN, in selling our airtime in a very different way. Hopefully, you know, that's the answer.
Your output agreements, we've seen the network shed them to a large extent completely over the last couple of years. You've still got ties, I think, with Fox and CBS.
Mm-hmm.
CBS is a little bit complicated, isn't it? Because they're a sort of a partner in one of your multi-channels. Talk to us about that.
Look, I mean, I think what we've said is that we're reviewing all content right across our network. So we're not, you know, commenting on individual programming providers, whether that be studios or, you know, local, you know, production companies here in Australia. You know, our key is to reduce our cost per hour of content, which, you know, I think historically the cost of content, domestically in particular, has outstripped the advertising revenue market. So that's got to be redressed somehow. Part of that's just being smarter about how you commission your content, and the other part is, you know, actually getting some parity between, you know, the actual cost of content and the revenue that they drive.
Because international shows really aren't delivering how you'd like them to. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the programs because they're big shows in the US, aren't they?
Exactly. And look, I think that they form an extremely valuable part of, you know, the overall programming equation for all the networks across their 3 channels. So they are cost effective. You know, they are, you know, extremely high quality content. It really comes down to the volume that you've got and the, you know, the cost per hour as well.
Speculation about sports rights is really heightened this week with some speculation that Nine it's losing maybe as much as $40 million a year on its Test cricket. Would that figure surprise you?
Oh, look, we're always a little bit sceptical about you know, press reporting as a rights process is about to start. Look, there's no doubt that you know, the escalation in sports rights can't continue forever, especially when you've got you know, an advertising market that's reducing. So you know, in terms of Big Bash, you know, I mean, we are, you know, we would love to keep Big Bash. We're very focused on that, and we, you know, we think the job that we've done with Big Bash, the way that we produce it, the on-air talent that we've got, and the relationship we have with Cricket Australia, which has been a big part of this success, can't be replicated. So, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, those rights are going to go up.
Relationship's one thing, but at the end of the day, again, it's just going to be who's got the biggest wallet, isn't it?
Well, it is, and also, you know, there's a range of rights within that package, and until that process is formalised, you know, I guess it's all just speculation.
The Nine might be doing a good job of hosing down their ability to pay, but at the same time, they seem to be talking up the cost of the worth of the BBL. Mm-hmm. I guess you'd be very unhappy to see today someone mentioning it could be costing you $300 million. If you want to keep those rights, you'd have to be a non-bidder at that amount.
Look, I mean, I think that's just all speculation and a bit of game playing. You know, I think everyone said that Big Bash, you know, the rights of the bargain of the century, which you know, that wasn't what people said when we first bought the Big Bash rights. So it was an relatively unknown quantity. So look, we know that those rights, you know, are more valuable than they were 4 years ago, and it remains to be seen sort of how that plays out.
Yeah. Tell me about the little bit you mentioned today of exploring a new loan facility. I think $250 million. Just tell us about the current one is $200 million. It's drawn down currently around about 60. Is that correct? But there's a $30 million fee attached.
No, look. I think that's at a point in time.
Yes.
The drawn debt, and I think what we need to bear in mind is that your debt balances go up and down across the year and across the month. So the $250 million is it's an approximate number. There's a range of factors that will feed into that as our discussions go on. So yeah, that's all yet to play out.
And the documentation you released today said you're talking with the shareholder guarantors about being involved in the new one.
Yeah, look, those discussions have started. We're not going to go into specifics of any conversations that we're having with anyone.
Sure.
I think the important thing is that what we've set out there is that we have a plan. We understand that the future financial performance of the business needs to stack up in any new financing facility, whatever shape that may take, and that's our number one focus.
What would you do with that money?
In terms of the new facility?
Yeah. Is it there as a backstop, or is it there for some rights or some...
Well, it's just there to run the business the same way we do at the moment, but but more efficiently. So, it's used for working capital in terms of funding our programming.
Yeah.
So there's no sort of specific purpose that any additional money is earmarked for. Our focus is actually to turn the business into a profitable one that uses as little as possible.
As part of this sort of the different way of operating, the transformation, we've seen what you've done with your sales force, successfully sort of partnered with MCN. Some of your team went across there. They seem to be doing a good job of monetising that audience you have. What about other things like sport, the news departments there? Are there possible sort of futures for them in partnerships with other people?
Oh, look, I think everything's up for grabs. And as I said before, this is a true transformation program where every single part of our business is, we are looking at and saying, can we do it a different way? So you're right, MCN has been truly transformational, and the fact that we've grown our share 22 months out of 24 months speaks volumes. And we've only just started to trade dynamically, so that automated trading platform they've got, no one else can do that. And we will have the ability to trade programmatically by the end of this calendar year.
I've asked you before about your multi-channel strategy. You've got 1 and 11 at the moment. Now, 11 is in partnership with CBS, correct? But you own 100% of 1.
Correct.
You're the other 9 and 7 now both have carved out enough spectrum for another multi-channel, which helps build their overall share. You said you weren't going down that path. Is that still the case?
So we have no plans to introduce a 4th channel, if that's the question. I think the question for us is actually how do we maximise the profitability of the 3 channels together. So we get that a 4th channel adds a little bit to your network share, but it clearly comes at a cost that you've got to program nearly 9,000 hours of content across the year. So no plans on that front at the moment.
Okay. You talked again about the daily. I think you've announced that probably sometime last
10
year.
daily, yeah.
Yeah, 10 daily. It seems to be... Is it going to cost you much? I mean, and how are you going to monetise that?
So 10 daily is, so we did announce it last year. So 10 daily, we have a lot of content, short form content.
Existing stuff?
Well, we have a lot of short form content that actually sits on our 10 play platform that's actually not surfaced. So 10 plays, really the purpose is a long form, catch up service, and it does a great job. One example is, we have thousands of recipes from MasterChef that just really don't have a home on 10 plays. So 10 daily will be short form, video rich. We'll be able to use a lot of our talent on there. It'll have a home for our news, and it'll also help us serve a purpose of serving content to people across different day parts than 10 daily, which is generally a nighttime catch-up service.
Okay. Licence fees. There's a note in the statements today about if there's some sort of some rebate there in the budget that'll help your figures for the next half. Because if you'd had it this half, you would have been in profit.
Depending on the changes, yeah. So look, I mean, our understanding is that we've been lobbying government pretty hard for some time. They have been taking our arguments seriously. So we understand there's a package of things being considered, and our understanding is that we'll learn about that in the budget in May.
They could take away with the other hand, though, right? If there's restrictions on your gambling, the amount of gambling ads you can show during live sport. Have you run any numbers on if you'll be ahead with the licence fee? Will it compensate enough for the gambling?
Well, I think it depends on what happens to licence fees. We understand the public interest in problem gambling. I think our only thing is that if there are further restrictions on gambling, then it has to apply to all platforms, including online streaming. So, we have an extremely rigorous regime that we operate under at the moment. So if the rules are going to be tightened, it needs to happen across every single platform.
Just finally, maybe, if you had any message to staff, have many staff reached out to you this week? Because they're going to be seeing some of those headlines and no doubt concerned about your jobs. Did you tell them to brace for this week? Or
Look, I mean, we talk to our staff regularly, and we've been very upfront with them around the transformation program. So we've told them that what our results are, that some of this is unsettling, and we know that there's going to be change, but we need to go through it in a methodical and really well thought out manner before we actually put these plans into action. So we're just asking them to bear with us because they're a terrific team.
Yeah, and then this transformation report, when will we see the next stage, you think? When will we hear something further?
Look, we've got no timing on that at the moment. I mean, we are literally a couple of... Absolutely there is. So our bottom-up planning phase is like 2 weeks from being complete, and then we'll be into execution mode. So we've got a transformation officer on board now. So most of the financial impact will come into 2018 financial year. So we'll be making an announcement around that at some stage.
Paul Anderson, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Paul Anderson there, the 10 Network CEO, speaking to James Manning. We are off to a break. When we come back, we'll take you through the latest radio ratings. Stay with us.
Have you ever looked for a hotel online? Did you notice that there are so many different prices out there for the exact same room? Well, Trivago does the work for you and instantly compares the prices of over 600,000 hotels from over 200 different websites. Instead of searching for hours or spending too much, Trivago makes it easy for you to find the ideal hotel for the best price. Trivago shows you all the different prices for the exact same room. And that's how you can be sure that you find your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Trivago.
Welcome on board a new way to experience hassle-free boating. As a Pacific Boating member, you'll enjoy the freedom, the relaxation and sheer fun of boating without any of the issues of owning a boat. In fact, with our fleet of luxury cruises, you simply walk on, enjoy, then walk off. So to put the ultimate style into your lifestyle, join the club. Call 1300 Pacific and ask about our trial membership offer or visit pacificboating.com.au.
When you try a freshly made coffee at McCafe, you're enjoying Australia's most popular barista-made coffee. Just one of many reasons to try McCafe.
When you discover Babbel, you will take it everywhere. Because no matter what your day holds, Babbel allows you to learn on the go.
Hola.
With 14 languages to choose from and the convenience of anywhere, anytime, getting started is easy. Staying on track is even easier. Download Babbel on your smartphone or tablet device today. Learn languages. Babbel.
Did you know the right agent could make you hundreds of thousands of dollars more on the sale of your home? Secure the right agent to get you top dollar at openagent.com.au. And the best part is it's absolutely free. Simply type in your postcode to discover agents who have sold homes in your area. Next, get a snapshot of recently sold properties and compare agent reviews.
It was quick, it was easy, and they did all the hard work.
To personalise your search, speak to a specialist from our research team. No wonder 60,000 Australians visit Open Agent each month to find them an agent that can sell their home smarter, faster and for more money.
We got $200,000 more by choosing the right agent.
Find the right agent to get top dollar for your home. Remove the guesswork and let Open Agent do the hard work for you. Call or visit openagent.com.au.
Ships of War, a new die-cast model collection. Bismarck, Hood, the Prince of Wales. Detailed hand-decorated models. Issue 1 with a Japanese legend, Yamato, only $5.99. On sale also, military vehicle collection. Issue 1 with General Rommel's armoured carrier.
Welcome back to Media Week. My co-host James Manning, editor and publisher of Media Week, joins me, of course, off the back of that interview with the 10 Network CEO Paul Anderson. And, well, James, what did you make of it, in particular the announcement today? And then during the interview, I thought it was quite interesting talking about he doesn't feel there's any need for a white knight, simply a profitable operating model.
Yeah, well, I guess if you take away the write-downs, they're virtually breaking even. So they've just got to, if they could get some of those costs under control, they'll be back into the black. But gee whiz, it's a challenge they've been facing for a little while now. And they're at the pointy end of the business. The same things are sort of happening, but not quite as badly, certainly yet for 9 and 7. But 10's out there sort of pioneering this new space, and everybody will be watching. It'll be fascinating to see what comes out of that sort of transformation process they've got underway. And
once again, you really get the observation, if you like, of the clarity around the need, at least from the free-to-air networks view and certainly subscription television, of change to media laws, some reform in the space. Yes, yeah, you've got to think, what could that do? I think that's probably, they're restricted by some of those regulations. Potentially, new investors or, majority owners of the business are hamstrung by some of those rules. I thought it was quite interesting as well, some of the commentary around the cricket, of course, earlier this week. An interesting article around whether or not Channel 9 should do away with paying bucket loads of cash for the cricket rights. You've got to think it's convenient timing for 9 going into the negotiations, intentional or otherwise. It's hard to see them walking away from cricket. I just don't think that's going to be on at all. It just comes down to will there be room? Have they got room financially to bid for those BBL rights? And does 10 have enough in the bank to match them on those what will probably be inflated figures? Yeah, and look, just finally in regards to TV, though slightly different, of course, Bill O'Reilly, we spoke about last week, exiting Fox News. Well, he's back, but on a slightly different platform this time. Yeah, look, you're going to have to subscribe to see him on his own website. He's been back this week putting up commentary. He's going to be back from next Monday. The paywall will go up. He's going to deliver content every day in the US at 7 p.m. So he's going to sort of treat it like a broadcast format, if you like, but you're going to have to pay up. I think it's like $5 US a month, or you can get a yearly subscription at a bit of a discount. Look, he only needs a small proportion of those daily listeners to start paying him directly, and he's got a good little business. Yeah, he does. Look, let's move on. A big day for the world of radio, some radio ratings. We're going to go through some of the key markets. We'll kick off with Sydney, and, well, what a return to form for 2GB. Yeah, look, we sort of cautioned last time we looked at these figures. Don't read too much into these sort of survey-by-survey fluctuations. 2GB's gone up, sort of brought back some of the share they lost before. Alan Jones certainly a factor in that, but he was only on air, I think, for 2 weeks of what was, I think, about a 7-week survey. So certainly had an impact, but it's not all down to him. It's just sort of the normal market fluctuations, I think. Yeah, we get to see Smooth, Kiss, Nova and WSFM. Let's move to Melbourne. Take a look at the top 5 for Melbourne, and 3AW continues to dominate, doesn't it? 13.8%. Yeah, look, it does. Fantastic result for them, and they're the traditional owner of that space down there. They don't show any signs of giving that up. Great survey for Smooth FM. We should mention they're both #1 FM in Sydney and Melbourne. It's the first time that's ever happened. They were so close last survey, but it's a massive day for Nova Entertainment. And quickly, we'll just go through Brisbane as well, the top 5. Nova, pretty decent lead, 13.8% over Hit 105, coming in at 11.5%. Your thoughts on the Brisbane ratings?
Yeah, look, it gives Nova Entertainment a clean sweep of the East Coast with Nova back in top spot over there. Some challenges for 97.3 up there. They believe their traditional audience hasn't gone to Triple M. The figures sort of indicate otherwise, so we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of surveys.
All right, great stuff, James. Appreciate it. Thanks very much for the interview as well. James Manning there, editor and publisher of Media Week. That is all we have time for in this edition of Media Week. Thanks for watching.